Hey, what's going on everybody? It is Nick here, back with a brand new video. Today we're going to be discussing the SEC lawsuit case, as well as kind of going in depth on the XRP market structure overall. Just because in my last video I didn't go too in depth on it, and I did want it to, kind of reiterate the overall structure of the chart. But before we get into this video, I do just want to ask, if you guys are brand new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and turning notifications on. But if you guys aren't new and you guys are enjoying the daily content, definitely leave a like, as it does help the video get pushed more to the public. So let's get into this, right? So first and foremost, this is an update regarding the SEC lawsuit from James K. Fallon. Of course, Jeremy Hogan quoted it, but we're going to read more into this overall. So we see that Ripple files its opposition to the SEC's request for a 60-day extension of the discovery deadline, which we've been talking about this for quite some time. I mentioned, I don't see this pretty much, getting pushed through. I think that this is going to be denied overall. And then we also see Jeremy Hogan quote this, and he's saying the best part of this opposition by Ripple is when it points out that many delays the SEC complains of were caused by the SEC itself. Etc., failing to turn over documents related to Bitcoin / Ethereum status on being a security or not, and also being told twice by the judge, which basically this is a smack in the face from Ripple to the SEC, which honestly nobody should be upset about, and it's actually a good thing to really see, because this entire case, in my opinion, has been a show. It's pretty much just been a mockery of Ripple and Ripple holders as well, because we've been delayed. We've been delayed so long, especially like if you consider the fact that if XRP was on most exchanges at the time when it was pumping 40 cents a day back in April, the price could have easily have topped out at, over $5, because it most likely would have hit all-time high levels easily and with a lot more volume too. So, yeah, I hate the fact that we're still in this SEC case sort of, time period, but it is what it is. It looks like Ripple is pretty much getting the upper hand every single day, and pretty much every single case update, comes closer and closer to a settlement, in my opinion. So, on to the next. So, this is kind of, if you will, a joke in itself, but it's also good to note. So, there was a tweet currently deleted by Joel Katz, who is the CTO of Ripple. And this was actually pointed out by Roll XRP. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter, I definitely advise you guys to. And we have what was the saved tweet here. And this is basically saying, can you refuse to provide documents requested in discovery in order to be turned over by a judge on the grounds that the contents of those documents are really embarrassing and harmful to your case, asking for the government. This this is actually pretty funny as well, because this is pretty much another slap in the face for the SEC, because it is true, right? You can't refuse to provide these documents because they are harming the case, right? Because we already know that what's included in these documents will probably make or break this entire case overall. And they do have, I think, until the 11th, which is 2 days away now, to provide these documents. So this could, in my opinion, really tell us if we're going to get a settlement or not. And I really do think that what's in this entire document is going to be harming for the SEC, and it's going to really destroy the grounds that they built overall. But I also have a little bit of another subject to talk about, which is regulations, right? Because we've been talking about regulations for quite some time now. This is coming from Caitlin Long, which is the CEO of Avante BT. Also a Bitcoin pretty much supporter, but it doesn't really matter about that. Anyways, this is talking about regulatory clarity coming for stablecoins, right? Because we talked about it for projects like XRP, HBAR, etc. This would actually be very interesting overall, because this means that we already seen the problem with Tether, right? There's been a lot of speculation from a lot of people. I'm not going to mention Crypto Whale, just because I know that there's a lot of people who hate on Crypto Whale. Me personally, I don't really look too much into his tweets, just because I do know that he's been bearish every single time that Bitcoin's done bullish parabolic highs. But yeah, Tether in itself is kind of sketchy. We've looked at how much they're printing pretty much all the time. Bitcoin's price is inflated by Tether overall. it makes sense. It does. So regulatory clarity coming into the space for stablecoins would most likely help, the inflation not be there overall, which it could be a bad and also a good thing if you look at it. Um, it all depends what's happening with, the audits that come into the space, because we know that most stablecoins are audited. For example, Tether was audited, but they I don't think that they actually released the audit report because they said that they don't need to be audited. It was it was actually kind of weird. I think I spoke about this in one of my initial videos regarding a Bitcoin fall to 38K. But hey, it is what it is. I think that this is really good because overall it's going to be the same regulations as banks. So stablecoins will essentially be a banking coin, if you will, similar to like the US dollar or any sort of currency that is, your main currency for like a country. So I think that this is interesting. I think it's very cool to see. I think regulations are going to be a big thing in this space, and I think it's only the beginning for crypto. Like I said, mass adoptions coming into the space every day. Institutions are buying at massive amounts. And like I said, I think crypto's in its infancy stages, so we have a lot of room to grow nonetheless. But let's go over to live coin watch. Now, I did say that I'm going to look at the chart, and I will. Please be patient. I'm going to be looking at it at the end of this video. But I do want to regard some things. Bitcoin dominance is still ranging a little bit lower here at 41.23. Still looks pretty good. Overall, this drop has been a little bit less than what we've seen for most alts in the past. Because dominance has been a lot lower lately. I think when we initially broke down to about 30K, we were nearly at 50% dominance. So this drop was quite the different story this time around. Market cap is sitting under 1.5 trillion, which is pretty bearish. Sorry, almost said bullish, but it is what it is. XRP only down about 3%. We come down here to HBAR. Only down about 1.45%. HBAR has been holding pretty strong as well, which I talked about in my last video. XRP still holding pretty strong at about 85 cents. Currently it's about 84 cents strong because this is kind of behind a little bit. Wish it was a little bit more updated in real time, but hey, you can't you can't win all of them. It's all good. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, things look a lot different this time around compared to the last dip on Bitcoin. I mentioned that the bottom might not be in yet. I think that 23,000 to 28,000 could be very possible. And the reason for this is I still think that we're in a wave 5 distribution pattern, and I think that we could go much lower. But I do want to say right now, volume on Bitcoin and also XRP and most alts look horrendous. I will be completely honest with you. If we come over to the XRP chart, we actually just pumped up past 84 cents, still not in our current support zone. We see the volume down here. I do have a horizontal line here because we are actually below our initial volume back in January, which is bearish. It's very bearish because this is when this is pretty much before the SEC lawsuit. So this was massive amounts of volume influx. Then we came down to this bearish zone, and we're actually breaking almost below this now, which means, hey, we could come down much lower in terms of XRP. Now, I do have a few sites here to look at. So first and foremost, I do want to note that this 85 cent support zone has now been breached fully, which tells me that we are in a bearish price point average, which means we could come down to this 62 cent low. But like I said, we could probably see a relief pattern on Bitcoin play out before we see some bearish PA play out. So in terms of where I see Bitcoin headed, we could breach that 46K level up here across the bridge to happiness. And when I say that we could breach that 46K level, I mentioned that this level was strong to hit, right? Let me just circle it for you guys. So this zone here could still be breached and we could still get rejected off of it. It doesn't mean a clear sign to, sunshine and blue skies. It just means that, PA is strong. So right here, I will be looking to most likely take some profit off the top and rebuy lower. If we go up past 50k plus, then hey, I will rebuy in at a loss, and I will completely admit it. Sometimes buying at a loss is not a bad thing, because most of the times you could see, for an example, resistance be completely rejected, and we can come down lower past support zones. So yeah, I mean, me personally right now, what I'm looking for on Bitcoin is just to really get this overall uh, terrible choppiness play out. Right now we could potentially say that this is our bottom support, because we have actually breached it twice here if we look here. So this $31,000 level is nearly our full support zone, because we breached it. We pretty much bounced off of it twice, but we only breached it this one time here. And we could see even back here, going back to January, that was pretty much a strong support there too. But the good thing here is that 31k to 30k was never breached, and it was honestly a fight for the whales, or the bears, if you will, to try breaching it today. So hard to say where we are headed, but if I really had to give you guys my input, I think we probably get a relief rally up to this $46,000 level, possibly a little bit higher. We could probably try to breach 48k before getting shot down and rejected down to this 28k zone, or possibly even the $25,000 range, which could even be a little bit lower at that 20k to 23k zone. Now, what happens after that? Everybody says bull runs over, we're dead, we're going to zero, whatever the case may be. Pretty much panic ensues. But after that, I think that we go much higher with targets up here. Now I'm going to actually put them on the board 1 second, just to give you guys overall references. So first target is that $75,000 range. 1 second. So 75,000, and then our next target would be 85,000. So I think around here is our top point. This is our top. So from safe or so, we bottom out around 24k. We'll just say 24k just to be solid, because I think 20 to 23k is possible, but I'm more leaning towards like 24 to 28k being our peer bottom. So that would be about another 209% pump, and then at the top of 85k would be another 251% pump. Now yeah, we could see 100k. It's not unrealistic. That would bring us to about another 315% pump. Now I know a lot of people will say, well, those aren't really high numbers, but our initial bull run for Bitcoin began back in these stages back here. So technically it would be about 2,600% of an increase in price. Now, hey, you guys already know where my targets are for XRP. That $10 point is a huge target for me, but I think that we could go to $20 to $30. I think $20 to $30 is a safe, realistic point. I see a lot of people showing $50 to $100. I'm not going to show you guys that. I'm going to be more realistic with it and say $20 to $30 is more realistic overall. But hey, nonetheless, we are getting solid updates in terms of the case. Price action seems pretty strong here overall. We're trying to regain that 85 support currently. And yeah, I mean, things look choppy, but for the most part, volume sucks. Price action is wishy-washy right now, choppiness. So we currently will trade sideways until something is invalidated or validated on Bitcoin in terms of the lower low being targeted, or a relief rally overall, which don't get caught in the relief rally. We will most likely come down from it to those lower targets, which means, hey, you could take some profit if you will, and then rebuy lower, hopefully. If not, then we will most likely have to buy at a higher price, lose a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. It's the game that we play. But nonetheless, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys are new to the channel. Nonetheless, I hope that you guys are having a beautiful day or a beautiful night. wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out.